स्टोरी टाइम इज ब्रॉट टू यू बाय अमेरिका में मुसलमानों की नुमाइंदा तंजीम इस्लामिक सर्कल ऑफ नॉर्थ अमेरिका समाजी शऊर से आगाही हो या इस्लामी तर्ज जिंदगी का दर्स, इकना ने हमेशा अपना मौसर किरदार अदा किया। कार खैर में हमारा साथ दीजिए। फोन 718-658-1199।
To the children living in the US, the UK and Canada, we say the greeting of Islam, Assalamu alaikum, and we welcome you to another session of story time. And we are here today with another great story from Quran. But before we start our story, let's see who has joined us in this session. Yes, let's start with you.
My name is Darva. I'm from class 2E.
Okay,
Hello everyone, today you have Isha with you.
good. Isha.
Hey, there is Moss, and today I'm gonna ask some difficult questions.
Okay, Moss.
Hey, it's Harim Khan from class 7 and I'm going to ask you some inspiring stories.
Wow.
Inspiring questions.
Inspiring questions. Okay, so today our story is about Prophet Saleh alayhi salam. And Prophet Saleh alayhi salam went to a people. He lived among a people who were called Samud. Okay, and you know why they called Samud? Samud was the name of their great grandfather, who was the great grandson of Prophet Noah. And the people of Samud lived in a place in Saudi Arabia called Hijr, which is not very far away from Mecca. It's on the western side of Saudi Arabia, not far from Mecca. Now these people of Samud lived a very good life. They were very rich, just like other people from the Quran that we heard about. These people were very rich as well. And that's one thing about them. The other thing amazing about the people of Samud was that they lived a very long life. So their trouble was that they lived in houses, and houses were gone, and Samud people were living long after their houses were gone. So a house would be for stay standing for, let's say, 100 years or 200 years, right? But the people of Samud were living 300 and 400 years.
Like 3-4 centuries?
Yes.
Wow.
Amazing, right?
Yes.
So then they thought, what should we do? And they thought of a solution. They started carving houses in mountains. Their houses were mountains. So they would cut a door into a mountain, and then they keep cutting inside and made a huge house inside the mountain. So from outside, the mountain would look like just like another mountain, but once you go inside, it was a house. See how strong they were? That they could turn a mountain into a house.
They had the facility,
Yes,
the ability to do that.
ability to do that. Isn't that amazing?
Yes.
So now once they became rich and powerful, and once people become rich and powerful, then who comes to misguide them? Once again, Iblis was there. And what happens? What the first thing Iblis tells people to do?
Worship idols.
Worship idols. That's exactly what Iblis did to the people of Samud.
Were they so developed that they made houses in mountains?
Yes, they had all the tools. They had big hammers and chisels, and they knew how to carve, turn a mountain into a house. Living rooms and dining rooms and kitchens, everything.
Kitchens?
Even kitchen inside the mountain,
They will be making foods in there?
inside the house. Inside the mountain.
Where was tribe Samud live?
Samud lived in a place called Hijr, which is on the western side of Saudi Arabia, not very far from Mecca.
Was it a valley?
Yeah, it was a valley surrounded by mountains. So in the valley, they had their farms and cattle, and there was a river and lots of food growing in that valley. And in those mountains, they had their houses. All the mountains around the valley was turned into their houses.
Was there any name of valley?
The valley of Hijr. It's called the valley of Hijr.
Why it's known as Valley of Hijr?
It's just a name, Arabic name for it. Right? So they had these 3 special idols that they worship. One was Shams, and the other was Manat, and the third one was Lat.
That's really strange.
Yes.
Weird.
Weird name.
Yes,
But for them it was really
important for them.
Important name.
And these names are mentioned in Quran. Lat and Manat. Because Allah was very angry with them that why they worship this Lat and Manat, why they gave so much importance to these idols when everything that was given to Samud was given to them by Allah. So Allah has said in Quran that you go and you worship Lat and Manat, but everything you have is given to you by me, by Allah. So to guide them, Allah sent to them a very good prophet who was Saleh. And Saleh was a very gentle man, very good person who was guided by Allah.
Didn't Hazrat Saleh reminded them of Allah's blessing?
Of course he did. But what happens in every case like
But
this?
Allah gave them blessings. But
Yes.
Allah knows that they're not gonna thank Him. So why did He give them?
You see, this is the test of people. Everyone is tested. We have many things, right? So Allah gives things to people. And by giving things to people, Allah tests them. He wants to see how we behave when we have loss of money and things. And sometimes He takes away things from people. And He wants to see
Patience.
that how patient we are. Do we still thank Allah or we ignore Allah because we don't have anything? So in both ways, by giving things to people, Allah tests them, and by taking away things, Allah tests people. And in both times, shaitan comes to us. If we have many things, shaitan would tell us that, look, all this is your effort, it's your thing, don't thank Allah. And if you don't have anything, then again shaitan will come and he will say, Allah has not given you anything, you're so poor. So why pray to Allah? Just leave Allah. So people of Samud was very rich.
Why did Shaitan always say that disobey Allah, disobey?
Because he has this grudge against human beings. Shaitan wants us to go into the hellfire because we made him come out of Jannah near Allah. He was very close to Allah, and because he didn't bow down, he had to leave that nice place. So he's our enemy now.
People of Samud didn't came on the right path.
They didn't listen to Saleh. So Saleh would go again and again and then again. Every morning he would leave his house and he would go to people and tell them, beg them,
Why do
request them.
every prophet has a patience in him, and he just keep providing the message?
See, there is this message from Allah that if you are doing something good, then you have to be patient. That's why all the prophets are very patient, because prophets are a role model for us. prophets are sent, so we look at them and we behave like them. So one important thing all prophets have is patience. So we can become patient, because in the long term, in the long run, people who have patience, they succeed, they become successful. So patience is very important, and that's why every prophet was very patient. So one day, all the chiefs of Samud, the powerful leaders of Samud, were sitting like this, and once again Hazrat Saleh came to them and tell them to believe in Allah. And I don't know what happened to them. Maybe it was Iblis who whispered into the ears of these chiefs, that one of them said, looking at the mountain, and he then looked at Saleh and said, Saleh, we will believe in your Allah if you carve a camel, she-camel, from this mountain. Make us a camel from this mountain, a big camel. And Saleh just thought for a minute and said, are you sure that you will believe in Allah if Allah makes a camel from this mountain? And they said, yes, we will. Because they thought that Allah cannot do this.
Yes.
So Hazrat Saleh did wudu, he prayed salah, and then he asked Allah for a she-camel. And Allah said to him, yes, I'm going to do it. Just ask them to look at the mountain. And all of them were looking at the mountain, knew that nothing is going to happen. And then suddenly, a camel came out of the mountain.
A she-camel?
A she-camel. A huge one, a big one.
It was true.
It was true. And they were just amazed.
They were looking at the camel.
Yes. They were looking at the camel and they said, wow. And
So
they
did
said,
they believe in him?
they said that, okay, we will believe in Allah, but we will not stop worshipping Lat and Manat. We will not stop worshipping our idols.
So didn't Hazrat Saleh told them anything or gave them instructions about the camel?
Yes, and then Hazrat Saleh said that Allah has sent this she-camel and He wants you to do one very important thing, two very important things. Number one, she would drink water from this well one day, one whole day. You cannot take any water from this well. And the next day, you will take water from this well. She-camel will not even come close to this well. So she-camel was big. She drank all the water from the well whenever it was her turn. And next day people had to wait till water came into the well and they could drink water. And they were
What
very
was the
upset.
second instruction?
The second instruction, that you should not harm this she-camel, because this is not an
Care.
ordinary
Care
she-camel.
Care for it.
Yes, you should care for her, because she is a special sign of Allah. You should not harm her. You should take care of her.
It was a really good test.
Yes, it was a very good test. Now after some time, the she-camel had a baby and she started giving milk. And people came to Hazrat Saleh and said, can we drink the milk of this she-camel? And Prophet said, yes, you can. But take care of her. Make sure you don't harm her. And the people of that time started caring for her. But after some time, they were angry. They were upset that why we have to take turns at the well with the she-camel. Why she drinks water one day and then we drink water from this well the next day. And you know what they thought of?
They,
What were the chief's plans?
The chief's plan was to kill the she-camel.
Didn't they
She
fear
camel.
Allah?
He didn't.
they,
Because they actually didn't believe in Allah.
Didn't believe in Allah.
they kill camels like
Yes, they killed camel's leg. So what happened that the people were not ready to kill the she camel. It were only the chiefs who wanted to kill her.
So did the punishment came on the chiefs or on the people?
Nay, on everybody. And the way it went, that she camel was going around and the chiefs were planning to kill her, and Hazrat Saleh knew, Allah told him that very soon the chiefs were going to kill the she camel. And he went around telling all the people of the town that your chiefs are planning to kill the she camel, and if they do, then there will be punishment of Allah.
What was the punishment?
The punishment would have been very severe, he said. And the punishment would be that you will all be killed. You will all die a very miserable death.
Like
You will
Hazrat
have lots
Nuh's
of
tribe.
it. Yes.
They killed camel's leg.
Yes, but the people didn't listen. And they went to their chiefs and they said, please don't kill the she camel. But they didn't agree to the people, and people didn't do anything. So one day the
So
chiefs,
if they knew that the she camel would have will be killed, so they must have took good care of her
who
with the people.
but people were not ready to disobey their leaders. They followed their leaders. For them, their leaders were more important than the she camel, who was a sign from Allah for them. So one day the chief's son, who was very bad man, went and killed the legs of the she camel, and she camel just bled and she just died.
That's really
And
sad.
That's very sad. And her baby, when he saw his mother dying like that, he ran away into the forest. And Hazrat Saleh went into the forest looking for the baby. And then he found it. And baby was very upset. And Hazrat Saleh hid the baby camel in one place, in a safe place. And when he was hiding the baby in a safe place, the baby cried for 3 times.
Why?
That was a sign. And Hazrat Saleh came and he said that you have 3 days till the punishment of Allah.
Means 3 times he cried, 3 days in punishment.
Yes, 3 times. His cry 3 times meant that there are only 3 days left. So next day, the first day, the faces of all the people who were living them started to change. All their faces became red.
But scared?
No, that was a sign from Allah that now punishment is coming. And they thought that is some kind of disease. They all caught some kind of disease. And Hazrat Saleh said, no, this is not a disease.
It's a sign.
It's a sign.
It's a warning.
It's a warning. But they didn't care. And next day their faces turned orange. And again the people of Samud thought that it was just some kind of allergy. They got some kind of reaction from food.
And the last day come.
And the last day came, and all their faces turned black. And the people of Samud still didn't care. And this people came to Hazrat Saleh and said, okay, now our faces are black. Now what's going to happen? He said, now you're going to die. And they said, how? He said, you just watch. And right then, a cloud came over the city. And all the people of Samud went outside looking at the cloud, thinking, let's see what kind of punishment comes to us. And
They were so stubborn.
they were so stubborn. And you remember what cloud brought for the people of Ad?
Black one.
Black one. What it had? What came out of the cloud?
Wind.
A wind came out of the cloud.
A big wind come
A
out.
big wind came out of the cloud. And you know what came out from the cloud this time? Just a sound, a voice. And that sound was so terrible, so strong, that it just went into the ears and blew off the brains of the people. It was so shrilling, so sharp sound that all the people of Smooth heard it. They tried to close their ears, but they couldn't. They tried to hide in rooms, in closed rooms, but they couldn't. And that voice killed each one of them.
They all died.
And
But
they
how
all died.
was Hazrat Saleh saved?
Hazrat Saleh, on the third day, when the cloud started to move on the city, he left the city and he went very far from it. And even many years later, during the time of our Prophet Hazrat Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, don't go close to the city of Smooth, because that place is even cursed. He never let anybody drink water from the same well that they had in that village, in that city. And he always rushed, even if he had to go that way, he always rushed out of that city,
Why?
because that place was cursed by Allah. So what did you learn? What is interesting about this story?
We
They,
must never disobey Allah.
We never disobey Allah. Good. That's very
We
important.
should have a firm belief in Allah.
We should have firm belief in Allah.
we believe for Allah
We believe for Allah, right?
that all that He said that I will bring anything and He will bring.
Yes, Allah will bring everything for us.
Yeah.
So children, with this we end our today's session of story time, and keep watching for the next session of story time. We will be here tomorrow at the same time with another great story from our Holy Quran. Till then, Assalamu alaikum.
स्टोरी टाइम वॉज ब्रॉट टू यू बाय अमेरिका में मुसलमानों की नुमाइंदा तंजीम इस्लामिक सर्कल ऑफ नॉर्थ अमेरिका समाजी शऊर से आगाही हो या इस्लामी तर्ज जिंदगी का दर्स, इक्ना ने हमेशा अपना मौसर किरदार अदा किया। कार खैर में हमारा साथ दीजिए। फ़ोन 718-658-1199।